Welcome to Siemens Interviews. Artificial intelligence is the next big thing in tech. But hey, it has been for at least 5 years already, so where are we really using it by now? And where do businesses make money from it today? I'm speaking with the artificial intelligence guru at Siemens, Michael May. My name is Andreas Kleinschmidt. Hi, Michael. Hello, Michael. You're head of the company Core Technology, Data Analytics, and Artificial Intelligence at Siemens. Hey, how are you today?
I'm fine. How are you?
Yeah, pretty good. Trying to get used to being indoors. How are you coping with being indoors most of the time?
Oh, I think it's fine. As long as the internet works, I'm fine with working from home, as we all do.
Sounds like a plan. Now, I was researching a little bit what newspapers, magazines wrote about artificial intelligence 5 years back. And it was full hype. Artificial intelligence is the future. It's going to be bigger than the internet. You need to invest now. They're going to be huge revenue streams. But, Michael, where are those revenue streams? Who's really making money with AI at the moment?
Yeah, so indeed there was a lot of hype and everybody was expecting within a few years that the world is totally changed. I think we're beginning to see revenue streams, first successes, but it's still a long way to go to realize all the hype. But after all, also with the internet, there was a lot of hype back in the year 2000. Then there was a little breakdown and finally the internet transformed everything.
Okay, but there's a difference, Michael, because with artificial intelligence, we've not just seen one hype and breakdown. It happened several times. In the 50s, big hype collapsed. In the 80s, big hype collapsed. What makes you confident that this time is different?
Yeah, so I think there's a big difference this time. So the first two hype waves that was experimenting with AI, now AI, I think, has shown that it can have tremendous impact. We see it in the internet where you use text translation. We see it for image recognition, face recognition. So AI is used in many places, especially where lots of data is already available.
So real applications that promise to be useful. You're not only a, let's say, digital guy. Your life is not only about bits and bytes. You also think about the big questions of mankind. Are there any other non-digital hobbies of yours, Michael?
Oh yes, so I mean I like the digital world and spend my daily professional life in that. But sometimes when I go home, I like to be very non-digital, very analog, and I like to play guitar, classical guitar. So just making music with my own hands, nothing electric, nothing digital in between.
Sounds good. We discussed that coincidentally you would bring your guitar to this recording, so it's next to you. Would you mind giving us a quick taster of your music?
Of course. And so on. That's
sweet. Which piece did you play for us?
That's from an American songwriter called David Qualley. It's called After Time.
After Time. Now, unfortunately, I'm not very good with any musical instrument, but I did a little bit of research and I have also music for you, 2 pieces. And Michael, it's going to be a little quiz. You're a huge expert in the area of artificial intelligence. And one of the pieces you will hear has been composed by a computer, by an algorithm, by artificial intelligence. The other piece is composed by a human. Both are played by the same guitar player. So ready for the first one?
Yeah, oh my God.
All right, here's the first piece. Okay, so this was sample 1. Big question, AI or human, who composed this? And here is the second piece. Okay, what do you think? Which is which?
Yeah, I mean, without thinking a lot, I would say the second one sounds more human. So probably this is the one created by AI.
Nice, but wrong. It is the first. The first one was composed by AI, and the second one was composed by a human. So it has become difficult to distinguish between artificial intelligence, human intelligence, or is that really true? Because artificial intelligence, is that genuinely intelligence as we understand it?
Yeah. Sometimes it's difficult to distinguish human and artificial intelligence. So the example you just gave, so I was wrong. In sometimes the machine is even better in recognizing faces, for example, than humans are. But still, the way the machine is doing that is completely different currently from the way a human does it. So I do not know if I would call it intelligence or just crunching big numbers of data and fitting functions to that. I don't ask myself the question, is the machine really intelligent, or is it just acting as if it were intelligent? And I think the second thing is enough, at least for our daily life in creating AI systems.
Okay. By the way, we need to thank the composer and also the performer. You'll find him on YouTube as a samurai guitarist, because he seems to like samurais just as much as guitars. So what I hear from you is it really the most important question to ask, whether machines have intelligence as we humans understand it? That raises a different question for me. What should we compare artificial intelligence with? Should we compare AI with humans and what they're able to do? Or should we just, very pragmatically compare AI with other technologies and see where AI is better now and will be better in 5-10 years?
Yeah, I think what we should do in our business life, not if we do psychology or so, but in the business life, comparing just if it gets a task better done than you could do with any other technology, or if you do it by hand. So, for example, if you are able to train an AI to optimize operations of, let's say, a turbine, by learning from data, and if it's better than what the engineers could do, and if, for example, emissions is lower or efficiency is higher, then that's good, and then you should use it, and you should not think, is it really intelligent or not?
Let's go back to business. Where is artificial intelligence already a commercial success, Michael?
Yeah, I mean, AI is used all over the place in advertising, and there is a huge success. So recommendation systems like Amazon is using supporting face recognition on Facebook, for example. So there are many applications where it is used. Machine translation, so you see it in many places. And now I think it's swapping over towards the more industrial domain, more industrialized, more traditional applications in some cases.
If we stay with the success stories of today or the last 5-10 years, that's the Googles, the Facebooks and other companies. They're very successful using AI for advertising, and it seems they have the people culture. A lot of talk is about data, and questions asked in these companies are, okay, what data do we have to support these decisions? The culture is there. Many other companies, they have a much harder time. How do you not just bring in the priority of we want to be data-driven, that's what the CEO says, but then make sure every single employee understands the opportunity and is ready to change? How do you achieve that?
Yeah, that's actually a very good question. So companies like Amazon, they're really digital native, right? So they have been founded across data, across digitalization, around AI. For the rest of the world, so companies that have been created many years ago, they need to do a transformation, which is quite a long way to go in some cases, and you need to start with trainings for people. You need to take the fear of AI, which is sometimes there. You need to convince them that AI will help them actually to do their job better and not threaten their job. So there are many soft factors that you need to work on in AI. And you have to show them that if they use AI, their job becomes more productive, their work becomes better.
So you just mentioned, again, advertising, it's already being used, big commercial success, and it's now coming to industry. Can you give us a couple of examples where Siemens or other companies are already using AI successfully?
Yeah, so there's a couple of areas where AI now really starts being used and also starts to create revenue. So probably the low hanging fruit for artificial intelligence is always the service business, where you have lots of data, where you have to find out what's going wrong with a machine. And the classical application of AI is predictive maintenance and anomaly detection.
Tell us a little bit about that. What would be an example for predictive maintenance?
Yeah, so one case where we use AI is for monitoring the health of a pump, of an oil pump in that case. So you monitor what the engine is, what the pump is doing, using time series data, and then when there's an anomaly in the data, you give an alarm. And this is a very typical example, which we now start to see all over the place.
Well, for most people, they would just fix the pump when it's broken, right? What's the issue? Why do you need AI here?
Yeah. Imagine before that the pump will break, so that with some probability in 2 weeks the pump will stop working, and then you send a technician well in advance. He fixes the pump, and there is no break in operation, and you can save a lot of money. I mean,
and then the pump is not always in your kitchen. A couple of years back for Siemens, I went to an offshore oil rig in the Gulf of Guinea in Nigeria, and it means you have to do safety training, you have to be qualified, you have to fly to that place. It's incredibly costly, and the parts might not be there. So for oil and gas, it can save millions if you avoid downtime, if you don't have to shut down your oil field.
Yeah, exactly. This is something which we, especially in this current situation, which is a big advantage. Those companies that started to digitalize their service, who can do remote servicing, check the health of a machine while sitting in their office and not being on site, have a huge advantage. And I think this will, in the next year, change a lot. So everybody will switch to digital because they see going there, traveling there might be costly and might be unsafe in some cases.
Are there examples where Siemens supporting predictive maintenance with AI?
Yes, we do it quite a lot. The oil pump example I mentioned, we do it also for the turbines, where we have a remote service that can monitor the operation of the turbines in a very high level of detail, and that saves travel costs, saves time, and is much safer.
Yeah, another example that pops to my mind, I live in London. Siemens is going to deliver new trains for the so-called deep tube lines. They're really old tunnels, often more than 100 years old. And the new trains, the doors are often the bottleneck, if you will, because they have to open at every station, close. They have a lot of wear and tear. And if the doors don't work, you might have to take a train out. So if you could predict which door is going to break before it does, huge advantage.
Yeah, exactly. So this is something where our people in mobility spent a lot of effort and came up with very good solution how to do that monitoring and to predict well in advance that something might go wrong. And this is now established as a service which more and more customers use.
Okay. How can a company like Siemens make money from that? How do you turn the technology into a business model?
Yeah. One thing is it's better service for the customer, right? So if they save money because they know in advance that something might go wrong, it's better for them. Operation is smoother, and so they are more willing to pay maybe some extra money or to take Siemens instead of a competitor. So that helps a lot in creating additional contracts. It's also a huge thing for us that we can save money because we are much more efficient. Let me give an example. So for many years, we collect the service reports. So what might go wrong with the machine, what went wrong, and then what has been done to fix the machine. And now if you have a new person going to a site which is not trained a lot, he does not have access to that previous experience.
Okay, so over time, what I hear from you, over time, as the algorithm learns, it gets ever more efficient and more precise.
It gets more precise, and it helps a colleague which has not fixed one special turbine or pump to know what went wrong in that case, even if he wasn't present there. So he can learn what others already did and get the information in very little time, similar like a search engine in the internet.
Okay, so all about the customer benefit. What are other areas? Predictive maintenance. Where will we see AI applications in the next 12 to 24 months as well?
I think a very hot topic for artificial intelligence is so-called generative design. So it helps you to build better products by using artificial intelligence to generate solutions for that. So, for example, if you want to build a new car and you have a simulation model for the car, and AI helps you to find out which are the promising paths you can go and which are the designs you should not further explore, then you can come up more quickly with better solutions.
Okay, so it could be a tool to help us be more creative as designers. Sometimes the machine might propose designs that a human would never ever think of.
Exactly. So we also sometimes call AI augmented intelligence. Augmented means to boost the intelligence of the engineer. So he becomes more creative, he becomes better because some of the parts, maybe the more boring parts, are done by the machine, and he can focus on the really tricky things that no machine currently can do.
Can you give an example for a really cool new design that humans alone would never have come up with?
Yeah, actually, we had such a case when coming up with improved control strategies for turbines, for gas turbines. So the way the turbine operates, and the AI was proposing solutions here that helped to save 10 to 15% in NOx emissions. So the engine becomes more environment friendly.
So for everybody who's not an engineer out there, the gas turbines we're talking about are used in power plants, burn gas and then create heat and electricity from that. That's the idea?
Exactly.
Okay,
yes,
and then you can run it differently. Like a car, you could step full on the gas right in the beginning on a cool winter's day and torture your machine, or you could be smarter about it and then you could build the machine slightly differently so that the optimal operation is easier.
Exactly, yeah. So there are many different ways to run it. There's a need to run it differently depending if it's winter or if it's summer. And the AI then helps to find the best strategy of doing that. And it can explore solutions which no expert has ever thought about. So that's the good thing about a machine. It doesn't have a prejudice. It just explores a huge space, even if the engineer does not think about it.
Cool, sounds good. Okay, so design benefits from AI, predictive maintenance we've had. What else? Where are we going to see it in the next 12, 24 months?
We have design, we have the service, but we have also the operation. So if AI is inside a factory and monitoring what is produced, it can also make the operation more efficient. For example, in Amberg, we are producing our Simatic controller using circuit boards, and there
maybe for everybody, what's a Simatic controller in one sentence?
Yeah, it's a device that controls the operation of a factory.
So a mini brain that says what happens on this lane.
Kind of mini brain, yeah. And so it's a costly process to monitor if these boards are printed or designed correctly, and we're using X-ray for that. But with the help of AI, you can replace some of this X-ray testing by prediction based on the temperature of the process and so on. And then it gets much more efficient during operations. So you're quicker in producing a piece, and you can in some cases save a lot of cost because you need less expensive machineries.
Okay, so factories can become more efficient turning out, producing stuff. And then you also mentioned more creative repair. That's when the pump is broken and I didn't predict it.
Yeah, I don't mean creative repair. I mean, you get an example how other smart people have already solved it. And so you get a list of 10 recommendations how you can fix it, and then you pick the best one. And that saves a lot of effort.
And what about safety in a factory? How can AI help here?
Yeah, so I think that's an area where a lot of technology that is successful in the internet and elsewhere in the public space can be used. You can use vision technology to see if, for example, a workpiece has been put in the wrong position and might threaten the operation, or if a worker is behaving in a way which is not safe, and then give an alarm. So monitoring what is happening and then giving alarm if something is going wrong is a huge opportunity for more safe operation in a factory.
Okay. Maybe 1-2 examples outside the industrial space. Not the whole world is factories or train lines or oil platforms. What about healthcare, finance, internet? Where do you see applications in the next 1-2 years?
Yeah, I mean, we start to see applications all over the place in the financial sector. So it's not about stock exchange, stock market prediction, maybe, but it's about advice how to set up your portfolio in a reasonable way. So offerings are out there, and they can be based on recommendations by AI. Then another example is in the medical area, drug design, designing new drugs. So you need to check a lot of possibilities, and if you have the knowledge available in big databases, you can come up more quickly with a good design, and maybe even reduce the amount that testing on animals, for example, that has to be done.
That'd be really cool. Imagine. Super hypothetical scenario, and quite frankly not very likely, but imagine Siemens were to kick you out. Sorry, Michael, we don't need you anymore. Very unlikely, because you're working on some of the coolest applications for the company at the moment. But imagine you're out on the street, and in that scenario, if you were to start an artificial intelligence company, an AI startup, in this changed world we're living in right now, with coronavirus and a lot of question marks around the economy, what would your startup do, Michael?
My startup would work on AI and simulation. I find this one of the most hottest topics around, and maybe a kind of simulation that can design new drugs with less testing on animals, coming up with good candidates for a design. I think this is a huge opportunity for mankind, especially in the current situation.
Okay, imagine if AI could help us find effective drugs for coronavirus. The shutdowns would last for just a shorter time. Now, AI has its limitations today. Let's dream even more wildly. Let's go to the future, think 5, 10, 20 years ahead. What is personally for you your wildest dream when it comes to artificial intelligence?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I would like to see an artificial intelligence which is really able to make scientific discoveries, not small discoveries, but real discoveries like famous scientists are making. So they help currently, so they boost the intelligence, but we are far away from our AI making all the relevant decision, maybe even writing the paper itself. But at a point, I think we will get there, and we will see big scientific discoveries made by artificial intelligence.
Finally, one prediction. As they say, you can make predictions, but never add a timeline to them. I'm going to ask you to do both. In which year will we see jokes written by AI that we find genuinely funny? And a little caveat, we're both Germans and we're not renowned for our sense of humor.
Okay. I think that will be possible in maybe 10 years, 15 years. So I don't think this is the hardest thing. It's
Okay, so I'll take you up on that. Latest in the year 2030. We will review a couple of jokes like we did with the compositions today, and I'll ask you which one is by a human, which one by... But who knows, maybe earlier, and I have a feeling we'll speak long before the year 2030, Michael.
Okay, yeah. Thank you. Looking forward to that.
Thank you. Have a great day, and keep going with the guitar. I pretty much like that. Have a great day.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Cheers. Bye-bye.
Siemens Interviews is a production of Siemens. If you would like to know more, please visit siemens.com and join us again next time for more answers to big questions.